Everyone, thank you for joining us for part 2. I'm glad to see a lot of familiar names on the list today. So I'm glad to see that a lot of folks are back. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Claire Donnelly. I'm the project manager for the small business work at the Island Institute. And I'm very excited again for part 2 with Shannon. It's going to be great today. I just wanted to remind everyone again, and I'm sorry if you were here the first time and you're hearing this again, so I will try to be quick. But we just have one more workshop in our fall workshop series, which is November 12th, and that's the business structures workshop. And so that's the S Corp, LLC, sole proprietor, figuring out what is the best business model for you and the growth of your business. And then I just wanted to remind everybody again about the Business Resilience Grant Program. That's the micro grant program through the Tom Glenn Community Impact Fund. It's micro grants up to $1,500 to help businesses pivot and build more resilient systems in the wake of COVID-19 and after. And those funds can be used after this workshop series to like hire Shannon or hire Dream Local to help you sort of implement your plan or take you to the next steps. So just keep that in mind after today. I'm going to put the link again to that application in the chat. And then just the last thing is the small business podcast that I host. It's available on all of the platforms wherever you listen to podcasts. And we're just telling small business stories along the coast and in Maine in general. And then I'm sure most of you know who Shannon is, but if you don't, I will just give a quick intro. So Shannon Kinney is a seasoned startup founder and executive with over 25 years of experience. She founded Dream Local in 2009 to bring the power of online marketing to small and medium-sized businesses. She has a highly engaged network of leaders in media, technology, and startups worldwide, and has developed Dream Local Digital to be a widely recognized brand as best of class in social media fulfillment. And then I just saw a quick note, this is being recorded, and I wanted to apologize. So the person who uploads the recording has been away, but next week, everyone who attended this one and last one or who has registered will get an emailed link with the recording from last week and this week in one email. And then the one last thing is just to remember to please take the survey when this ends. There will be a little survey that pops up. And with that, I will turn it over to you, Shannon.
Great, thank you so much. And yes, you just saw the note, so yes, it's going to be recorded. Thanks everybody for being here. You'll also receive a copy of today's presentation if you registered for the event, and we have your email address for that. You'll receive a copy of the deck as well, so check your email for that. Thank you so much, Claire and the Island Institute, for having me. I'm really excited to be here. I grew up and paid for college lobstering on Crehaven Island. So I have a big passion for your group and the work that's done. And I'm excited to be here and be part of helping all of you as you create your businesses. So with that, I want to jump into today's webinar and let you know that if you have any questions, feel free to hit me up in the chat section. Claire has just put in the links to the grants that she mentioned, as well as the business structure session in November, which I wish had been around when I was starting Dream Local almost 12 years ago, which seems crazy to me now. But I'm watching the chat too, so if you have any questions, just hit me up and let me know. And this is part of our overall support series that we do for small businesses. We've got some COVID-related discounts, as well as a skills builder marketing coach program, which is a really affordable way for businesses that want to do their marketing themselves, but just need someone to coach them, to measure results and tell them how they're doing, give them some best practices and ways to be successful. So if you need something like that, the skills builder program may be for you. So in last week's session, we talked about planning, like developing your marketing plan and your plan of attack, really thinking about what are our goals for the next couple of months till the end of the year, and then how can I create a plan for 2021. I gave an outline of a full plan, which may have seemed daunting, but it gave you a section by section breakdown of what would be in a plan. We talked about setting goals, and then some big priorities around optimizing your presence, particularly for the next couple of months as more business shifts to e-commerce, and we really want to benefit from that for all of you. And then we gave a tiny bit of homework. This week, we're going to focus on execution. how to prioritize your efforts, how to create really engaging content. And I did get a bunch of questions about that, so I've made sure to put in several examples for you. And then we're going to look for tips for success in driving sales on social media, your website, email, paid ads, content, and search. We're going to go through it a little bit quickly. So if you end up with questions, hit me up. Or after today's session, if you want to, if you need any help or anything, just let me know. But I think that you're going to get a lot out of what we've got for today. So I wanted to ask how it went. What you were going to do for your homework was really think through your marketing plan and start developing your marketing plan of attack, as well as thinking through what some of your goals were going to be for the remainder of the year at minimum. And just as a refresher, we talked about setting SMART goals. And a SMART goal is specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. So does anybody have any comments or questions about how their homework went? Did you get a chance to set some goals? How are you feeling about it? Does anybody feel like sharing anything before we jump in? People are pretty quiet. Okay, sounds like everybody's going to be pretty quiet. So I want you to be thinking about those goals. And again, the more SMART you make them, the better you can see how well you're doing against them. So I would highly encourage you to do that. We also talked last week a little bit about your plan and putting your plan into action and ways that you would use your marketing plan on a regular basis. So let's talk about that for a minute. First, you think about your goals, which are going to define your strategy. Then we think about what's the marketing mix. So let's say our goals were about increasing e-commerce sales by 30%. Over the holidays, I want to get more business from e-commerce, excuse me. Okay, so if our goal is increasing e-commerce by 30%, then I go into my marketing mix. What is it that I'm going to use to help achieve that? The products, how am I going to position it? Do I need to have any sales or promotion to increase my sales by that much? Any pricing changes I should make, anything there? Then you look at your external communication. Am I going to put that on Facebook, Instagram, my website, my email? Should I buy any ads on search or social? Like, what should I do there? And that's when you choose your communication. You nail down your message, which is, we're having a sale, or please buy e-commerce, whatever your promotion is. You get it on those channels, and then you measure your results. So this is really the steps that it takes to take your plan and really use it, work it like a treadmill to make sure that you're driving results. And one thing I can share with you is, I know this may seem excessive. When clients hire us, we go through this process and then we show them results every month of how well it's working. And what I find is when someone else is doing it, you want to measure results. You want to see that report and know that that work is getting done every month. But when you're doing it yourself, a lot of times businesses don't measure their results. They just don't take the time to actually make sure that stuff is getting done. So I would highly encourage you to hold yourself to a plan, create your plan, hold yourself to your plan so that you can make sure that you are successful and that you are hitting the results that you want to hit. But many of you are scrambling, right? We're all scrambling. We're trying to catch up. We're looking at the calendar and realizing we only have 2.5 months till the end of the year. We really only have about 2 months until Christmas is happening. We want to increase our revenue. We need to overcome COVID. So I'm going to try to break it down into the simplest things that you could prioritize your efforts on today. So first, let's take a look at some statistics and how they've been affected by the pandemic. Right now, 70% of consumers are intending to make the majority of their purchases online this year for holidays. So that means that for those, if you usually get a lot of in-store traffic, you might see that decline. You might see more e-commerce sales. And so you want to make sure that you've got a seamless process to accommodate that. And now's the time to be strengthening your website and that shopping experience. In Q2 of 2020, which is right when this all started to hit, e-commerce grew 71%, which is just a staggering number. A lot of us started buying more products online. We were sheltering in place in some cases. And so it was really important that we were able to buy things. And then, as we've talked about in the past, what happens is people start developing habits. Then they are used to shopping online. Maybe they're going to continue to buy from whatever store they started with then. So it's really important to make sure that you capture some of this revenue yourself and that you can also keep it and make it work for you. Also, 47% of global shoppers are more interested in shopping online for the holidays this year compared to last. So you're seeing a lot of shifts there. And I have something I wanted to show you, which is I didn't get a chance to create a slide out of it, but I have a little loyalty piece I'm going to show you in a couple of minutes, so we'll push it up to the camera. Another trend that's happening is money is moving top of mind. Like money is top of mind. It doesn't mean people aren't spending. It means they're thinking about it. So hold on, Barbara just shared that she just started up an Etsy account for her artwork to sell note cards and print. This week, she tweaked her Etsy account and linked it to Facebook, her art website, and then started posting and connecting on Pinterest. Great job, Barbara. That is the great way to get e-commerce up and running, get your presence up and running, and start telling people that they can buy online. Fantastic. I also love how you also did note cards, prints, not just the plain ones, and she's had 3 sales already. So, you know, this is one opportunity for us to take this sort of distressing pandemic, but it also forced us to really think differently about how we sell. And Barbara, I bet you're going to find that you're going to continue those online sales if you keep doing that work. So great job there. As I mentioned on the slide, the money is moving online and it's also very top of mind. People are still going to spend on holiday gifts. In fact, you're seeing that they're planning on spending a little bit more there. But it's also just they're more conscious of money than in previous years. 50% of worldwide shoppers plan to either increase or keep their spend the same. So it's not that people are going to not buy, they're just buying differently. And Prime Day is the new Black Friday. So for those of you who didn't know, Amazon hosted Prime Day. It used to be in the summer, and it helped them fill in a really slow period. This year, they delayed it because of the pandemic, and it was yesterday and today, and it has become the new Black Friday. There are a significant amount of deals. A lot of bigger box stores are also posting deals to compete with Amazon, and really what it's doing is it's starting the holiday shopping season right now. So it's great that you're on it, Barbara. I'm excited to see that activity because what I'll tell you is now's the time. Don't delay anymore. You're seeing here in a couple of the stats that I pulled together from eMarketer that digital retailers worldwide are shipping things because of Prime Day and also really how Prime Day drives e-commerce and what those trends look like. So yesterday and today were big days on Amazon. There's also a huge surge in what marketing nerds call BOPIS, or buy online, pick up in store. So as seamless as you can make it for somebody to purchase online and then pick up, that is a really important thing to do if it's relevant to you. It's one of the big drivers for Whole Foods to be purchased by Amazon. One of the things that they first did was they put in all these lockers so that they can ship people's shipments there instead of to their houses to reduce shipping costs and speed up time. And they really started buy online, pick up in store as a big initiative prior to the pandemic really hitting, and now it's a much bigger part of what they're doing. So this should be part of your overall planning. But as we're talking about Amazon, we're thinking about Whole Foods and other big box retailers. I want to talk to you about the small store advantage. You can know your customer at a much deeper level than any big box store can. Just know that they set a bar. You know, Amazon knows what I like to buy. It recommends things to me if I purchase one other item in that way. So while they don't know me personally the way some of you may, they do look at my shopping behavior and recommend other things. You can actually really know your customer. You really know your local market. You know your target market. And I want to encourage you to do whatever personalization that you can to help keep that customer. In surveys on Redpoint, 70% said they would exclusively shop with retailers that personally understand them. So anything you can do to build that relationship, to go the extra mile, to get to know your customer and cater to them, the better. All right, we're going to talk about priority setting. So you heard a lot of things last week. You started making your plans. You saw Barbara's been busy and at work. If you're getting ready to do some work yourself, where should you set your priorities? So let's talk about 6 things that we're going to go through. 1 is what's going to help you hit your goals. 2, we're going to help you optimize your presence and your email if you have it. 3, e-commerce and or ways for people to inquire online. You saw Barbara just went and launched Etsy. Awesome. 4, social. Plan your content ahead of time because you're going to be really busy. 5, paid ads, when to use them. And 6, customer communication plan. So first, well, actually, before I get into presence, I want to say what will help you hit your goals the most. So each of you have very different goals. I don't know what they are in terms of what you set for your SMART goals. But before we go into the other 5 things that I have for you, think about that. If you wanted, for example, to increase e-commerce sales by 30%, then some of the actions like what Barbara did are going to be priorities. Either add e-commerce to your website, add more products to your website, or start an Etsy store, list your items on eBay or Amazon. Find ways to create e-commerce opportunities. So your first priority should be about whatever tactics you have goals set around. Then your second one is your presence. So let's make sure that your presence is ready. You first optimize your website for mobile, and not just your website, also emails. If you're sending out emails to your clients, make sure they're optimized for mobile. Whatever it is that your customers are receiving from you, it should work well on a small screen. 54% of all digital orders came from a mobile device, according to Salesforce, and this is a study done just this summer during the pandemic, and 70% of all digital traffic is coming from a mobile device. Make sure you're ready. I actually was talking to a business in Perkins Cove near a gun quit this past weekend, and they were really running into all these problems, and people were complaining. And when I picked it up on a phone, I couldn't fill out the forms. I had to like squeeze it. I couldn't really read it. And I was like, your customers, this isn't a great experience, and this is why you're getting complaints. And she had been looking on her great big monitor and just couldn't understand why everybody was so dumb. And so that's a really great example of what a big impact mobile has on the experience. So make sure that when you're thinking about how people visit your website, when they send you a Facebook message or a comment on your latest Instagram post, you're doing it from mobile. And it means that every marketing effort you undertake this holiday season should be examined through the lens of a mobile user first. Is the text easy to read, easy to click? Can they find your phone number? Because goodness gracious, they are phones. And a lot of times people bury their phone number like on the contact us page, when in reality, I'm just trying to find their phone number really quickly. So make sure that it is easy to read, easy to use, and as few clicks as possible to make a purchase on mobile. A second item is that e-commerce piece. So you may want to add a shopping cart to your site. What Barbara did with Etsy is great. So you can make your shopping cart be Etsy, it could be Amazon, it could be eBay, if that works for you. But make sure that you've got some e-commerce or add it to your website. If your website is in WordPress, there's plenty of plugins like Shopify, WooCommerce, and BigCommerce are just a few examples. Hold on, we just got, and I want to talk another minute about that, but we just got a question about Barbara, who said she's nervous about putting her phone number out there. What are the pluses? So the top search things about a local business on a mobile device are, number one, phone number, because they're trying to call. 2 is your address. Maybe they're trying to make their way to you. 3 is hours of operation. Are you open? It sounds, Barbara, like when you're selling primarily online, you don't really have people coming in a retail environment. You're nervous about putting your phone number out there. Sometimes people just want to make a connection and feel safe by using the telephone. One thing I'd encourage you to look into is Google offers this service. You can get a generic phone number and then have it forwarded to your device. Google offers that through free phone numbers that you can get on Google. You could potentially choose a track phone or something that is not necessarily you, if it's your personal stuff that you're nervous about, but ultimately it's about customer safety. If you're doing business with people on Etsy, you're answering their messages really fast via email, and you don't see a lot of need for a phone number, you probably will be fine. If you do have a retail location where people are visiting, you're going to want to consider having something that they can call if they need to. But let's get back to e-commerce for a quick second. So as I mentioned, Shopify, WooCommerce, those are 2 shopping carts that we've used quite a bit, as well as BigCommerce. One of you asked me questions over the course of this week about adding a shopping cart, and I sent a quick article. They're called plugins, WordPress plugins, and those are 3 that I would highly recommend. Make sure that when you put your products in, whether you're putting them in your own shopping cart or whether you're putting them in a site like Etsy, that you have really complete product descriptions. And think a lot about what the keywords are that somebody might search that you want your product to come up. So for example, let's say you make soap and you have soap, you may want to put gifts for her, or, you know, something like I might be going to Etsy, for example, and looking for gifts under $25 for her. And you want the soap to come up. So don't just describe your soap, which you should. Describe what makes it different. Describe, you know, how exciting it is or whatever you want to do to describe it. But also put some keywords in there about how someone might search for the product. Make sure that your fulfillment is tight and shipping is clear. This is really important because whether we like it or not, we are competing against Amazon, who can have products at my house in rural Maine in 2 days without a lot of difficulty and just a couple of clicks. So you want to make sure that you are encouraging people to shop early, that you are, so that you don't end up in that last minute rush with shipping items out, but have a good process, make it clear what the costs are going to be, and make it as short of a window as humanly possible so that you can compete with Amazon, and also as few clicks as possible. We work with one national retail chain that's headquartered in Maine. Their shipping strategy has been when you order the item, they find the store closest to you physically that has the item and ship it from that location. Makes sense, right? Like that is the most cost-efficient way to do it, but it means that when I'm buying, I have to go through a bunch of clicks. The system has to calculate which store is the closest to Thomaston, Maine, where I live, and the shipping costs are a lot higher. And what would end up happening is we would lose a lot of business to Amazon, where it's just click, 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 done. So there's a more pressure on big box stores than you, but just recognize your customers have been spoiled by Amazon, and so they expect a really quick experience. All right, so you also want to sell on social. There's a lot of opportunity to make sure that your social channels can drive people to where they can buy. So make sure you link to your shopping on your profile. So in the case of Barbara, she'll want to make sure that Etsy store link is everywhere. It's on her Facebook page, it's on her Instagram channel, it's on her email, it's in any messages that she's sending out and posts that she's doing. You should be talking about that link. So if you share about any products, put the Etsy link in. Here you'll see that Archipelago has the Shop Now link on your Facebook page. And one of our clients, The Good Bean here, we put Shop the Good Bean, the link right in the Instagram profile so that somebody could just click on it to buy whatever they want. Oh, I also should mention before I leave there, paid advertising can work very well on social media. That can be done with paid ads. It could be done to get people to buy a product, watch a video, subscribe to an email list, visit your website. Make sure that you understand what you really want the customer to do and get them there as quickly as possible when you're doing this. So the ads can work very well, but you really need to have a solid understanding of your target audience, what's going to motivate them, and make sure that your ad is targeted specifically to them. So Facebook and Instagram advertising in particular will work better and be cheaper if you get really specific about who you want to see it, and then the ad itself really appeals to that person. So don't say everyone in Maine, buy now. You want to really be zeroing in on that target audience, because Facebook wants to make sure that I don't see a lot of ads that aren't relevant to me. So be specific and it will work in your favor. Pinterest is also another terrific vehicle to use promoted pins to sell product, as long as you aren't expecting short-term sales and you're really thinking about the holidays, for example, because a lot of people on Pinterest save something for the future. Like right now, I'm starting to put together all my Christmas stuff that I'm going to buy, and I'm starting to pool those lists, and then I'll go in and buy later. So we just got a question from Allison. Hey, Allison, good to hear from you. I haven't seen you in a year or so. Great to hear from you. And Allison asks, what about selling directly via Instagram or Facebook? That is what I'm talking about with those ads. So you can do that directly through the ads. You could put your products directly on there. One of my favorite ad units for that is called the carousel ad unit that actually allows you to feature multiple products, and somebody can scroll to the right and see all the different versions of the product. In your case, it may be different colors, like you may have a red one, a red necklace and a green necklace or a blue. And the carousel can work very well. And you'll want the ad to not go to your home page, but go specifically to the page about that product. I can't stress that enough. As few clicks as possible for your customer, and you'll get much better conversion rates. So yes, Allison, I think Instagram and Facebook should be good for you. I know that your products will sell very well on Instagram, but don't leave out Facebook. Instagram is really going to hit 35 and under, and Facebook is going to really be hitting 25 and up. So you want to make sure that you're not missing all that disposable income that's on Facebook versus Instagram. Before I jump in, we got a question from Barbara. How do you move people from your personal Facebook account to your business one? This is such an important question. I'm so glad you asked it, Barbara, because for those of you who are artists, artisans, we also run into it with realtors where your brand is you. You may find that over the years you've built up a personal profile that has a lot of people following it that should be on the business. What I can tell you is you should move. It's worth the time and effort it's going to take, because you can't boost posts or run ads from a personal profile. You can't see any insights or analytics about what people are doing on a personal profile. And so you need that business one. In a couple of the ways that we've done it, we've offered contests for people to go like the page, see content on that page, and then done drawings before. You can regularly post, share a post from the business page to your personal, and then when people like it, invite them to like your page. That's something that my team does for every post with every client. If we see that someone liked it and they're not a fan of the page already, we invite them to do so. And that's a pretty important thing to do. You can also run paid ads likes campaigns for the business and target it just to people in your email list, for example. So if you have just these people who are already connected to you, and get them to see the ad to go over and like your page. But you are going to want to go through that effort to migrate them over. I also regularly, I do it about once a month, will go in and all the people that have just become my new friends, On Facebook, personally, I'll invite them to like my page. So I go through it about once a month and then push them over to Dream Local to the extent that they're willing to go there. To show you a couple examples of people that are showcasing products really well on Facebook that are local, here's the Loyal Biscuit. You'll see that they have shop online, pick up in store right in their cover photo, and then have the shop now button really big. They're also doing a special Facebook group with sales and sale items, which is really interesting, and I haven't seen that done locally in a while. You'll also see that the little profile image is very relevant and timely. It's a little Halloween version of their logo, which will turn into a Christmas version of their logo in a little bit. Here is Drum Center of Portsmouth doing a promotion on Instagram. This is just a regular post. This is not a paid ad. So this is to get to your point, Allison, earlier about how to sell through Facebook or Instagram. Here's Drum Center of Portsmouth that's saying this is an exclusive to our store, link to purchase in our bio, and then they described it here. So there are opportunities for you to sell without buying an ad. Just do it in your context of your regular post as well. If this was on Facebook, we'd actually have the link right in the post itself. On Instagram, you can't do that, and that's why it says link to purchase in bio. And then here's the example of clothing that's just showing that they can showcase a product in a really nice way, and the call to action is a shop now button. All right, so maximize your presence, make sure that it's ready to go, and that you've got everything pulled together to buy and sell online. Now, as I mentioned with that national retailer that we work with, one of the big things that you need to be thinking about, because we are the Amazon generation, is making it easy. So you want to make it easy in terms of the customer being able to find what they need. So here we want to think about, okay, is the sale information consistent on your social channels, your websites, and your offline promotions? And this is going to sound crazy, but it matters, because a lot of times people will say, have a sign up maybe in their store by the register, they'll be like 30% off. And then on Facebook, it might say 20% off, and it confuses people. So make sure that whatever information you've got out there, that you're seeing it consistently across all channels, and then people will remember it. Oh, this store is having a sale. Is it easy to find and read about your products and services on your website, especially on mobile? Make sure that I can see it, that I can quickly click to it, and find what I need really easily on a small screen. And then finally, are you able to suggest related products? So you've just chosen this pendant, you might like this chain, or you might like these options for a chain. That is a really important thing. So to the extent that you can relate products in your shopping experience on your website, or at least in your social media posts, the better. And as I mentioned before, complete product descriptions. This is really important. People are used to shopping online. They want to see the photos and see more about the products. So you want good high definition photos with decent lighting. I don't mean you have to be a professional, but take a little bit of time to get just a couple of extra lights to make sure that you're showcasing the product well, to the extent that you can. They make all kinds of little lights online that you can get really cost effectively. If you just even put in e-commerce light into Amazon, you'll see options. So make sure you get some good high def photos. Make recommendations in the descriptions and in the positioning for cross sells and upsells, and make easy to read pricing, tax, shipping, refund, and size guide, because those are the things that people are looking for. This store says medium. What does that mean? Is that a size 8, a size 12? Like, what's a medium? Help people so that they can make those decisions really quickly. And words are important too. Make sure that you give details about the benefits of the product or service, not just its features and dimensions, like talk about it. This is important in a couple of ways. Not only does it engage the consumer and get them really feeling the benefit of your product, it also helps you increase the terms that you might get searched under. So all these product descriptions are how you're going to get searched. So you think hard in these product descriptions. So Randy just asked if he could take photos with his iPhone to get that high def photos, and the answer, Randy, is yes. Your phone is fine. Just make sure you get some lighting to make sure you're showcasing it well. Either overhead lighting, good sunlight is always your friend, or one of those little lights that you can get online. I use one here for my Zoom meetings. Here's a little circle one that helps make my webinar stuff just come through clearer. So invest a few dollars in some lighting, and your iPhone ought to be great. Then edit it. Use the power of the phone to edit it. Use a filter if you need to get it to be as clear and bright as possible before you post it. And as I mentioned, product descriptions, words really matter. So think about describing the product in my language as a customer, not necessarily yours. Make it easy for me to really see or visualize this product, and then add in any keywords or terms that you think I might have searched under. It matters on your website. It matters on Etsy, Amazon, Google, eBay, or anywhere else that you're listing your product. And it matters on social media as well. All right. So several of you sent questions about engaging content. And so I want to make sure that I use several examples of engaging content on social for you. Like, what kinds of posts are actually going to help me increase my sales? So there's a few different tips here on the types of content to develop. As I mentioned before, the more you use your voice of your customer, the better. Like, say it in their language, not necessarily yours. And in terms of types of content, obviously, we want to hear about these products and this great work that you do, but not just that. It will increase your sales to post about whatever it is you want to sell, but you also should tell the behind the scenes, like, how do you make it? Why do you make it there? Where do you live? And why is it one of the most beautiful places in the earth? Because I know all of us live in some of the most beautiful places on the earth. How is the island community or the local community part of your story? Where are you an expert? What do you hear regularly, whether it's questions about your product or service, questions about how you make what you make? What are those things? And those would make great posts. Showcase your style, showcase yourself and your community, pictures of you making it happen. And finally, what do you wish everybody knew about you? So keep this little short list in addition to your own products. It will really help you create a mix that will help you be successful on social media. And now let me show you some examples. So this is an example that I just love that happened to me last month. And it was a great example of speaking to your audience directly in their voice. So I ordered first of all, my Fitbit was going dim. When I contacted them on social to figure out what to do about it, they said, you know, this happens when they're ready to die. You got to get a new one. They sent me a discount and a quick link on my mobile device to make me quickly go to the store. I was able to choose a new one, and I ordered it. Now, for those of you who use Fitbits, we get excited. We measure our steps. We log our food. We're really thinking about this stuff. And when they sent me my email, it could have said order confirmation. It could have said shipping, your order is shipped, and here's your tracking number, and that's it. But instead, the subject line says, today is the day, with an exclamation point. And of course, I'm in all my sea of email, I'm like, ooh, what's that? I click on it, I open it, and then it says, your Fitbit order is in the mail. Are you smiling? You're totally smiling. Don't camp out. You don't need to camp out at the mailbox. Here's how you can figure it out. Like, it did make me smile. And they took just a regular communication with me and totally made me smile. Now I want to use an example of an offline experience that also works that way for those of you who have a retail store. As I mentioned this past weekend, I was in Perkins Cove in Ogunquit. There's one little shop in there that I like to visit each year, particularly for gifts. It's just got all kinds of really cool gifts. And it's called the Perkins Cove Pottery Shop. And they had to have, first of all, a banquet, and Perkins Cove was mobbed, like to the point where it was not enjoyable shopping. There was people everywhere. Coupled with that, the store had to limit who could get in there. And so we were waiting in line to even get in. But what I love is this store owner, when I checked out, and I saw them doing it to people who didn't buy something, they made that personal connection. Hey, thanks for taking the trouble to come in here. We know this wasn't easy, and we want you to be able to continue your shopping experience. And they handed me this card. And this card actually showed me how I could go to their website and get a discount to buy more holiday gifts, which was actually interesting because I bought less there than I normally would because I felt like I had to get in and out of there. And they gave me this card and a discount code, and then it says, wishing you wellness and good health. I've shopped there every year for the past several years, never had a personal reach out that way, but particularly with the pandemic and their desire to move more business to e-commerce, this was another great way to do it. So I wanted to share that. I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to scan it in advance of today's session. Oh, we just got a question. Hold up. Let me hop up there before I go into the next thing. The name of the shop is Perkins Cove Pottery, and their website is perkinscovepottery.com. And for those of you who didn't see it, it said, we love sharing our beautiful place by the sea with you and yours during the holiday season. You can order from us online or over the phone for the holidays. Visit website or call us number. Orders over $50 will receive free shipping with the one-time discount code JOY, wishing you wellness and good health. All they're offering me is free shipping if I order over $50, no sales. But I'm saving this thing right by my laptop, and I'm going to probably go back to their site and try to find another gift there. So I really thought that was a tasteful thing. For those of you who are doing e-commerce right now, like Barbara, for your Etsy shop, for example, you may want to consider sticking a little card in the voice of your customer, which is why I'm talking about it right now, because this Fitbit nailed it with this email. You can actually just stick a little card in the package for a future purchase. Keep those people coming back to you. And if they were on Amazon, Etsy, or some other channel, and you want to bring them to your website, offer them the discount if they visit your website. With Drum Center Portsmouth, that's one of the ways that we got people to come from eBay to the site where they make more money than they do on those. All right, Randy's asked us another question. How can you use e-commerce when one creates unique objects? The product the customer sees is not the exact object they get. Is this okay? So Randy's creating one-of-a-kind pieces. And yes, Randy, it really is okay. So what I think you would do is show objects or pieces that are close to it, a sample of it, and then say yours could differ in these ways. I know on Etsy, I have 2 or 3 shops that I love to buy tie-dyes from that do really unique kinds of tie-dye art. I love tie-dye, and I don't have time to do it myself anymore. And tie-dyes, as I'm sure you can imagine, are one of a kind. And so these shops will showcase ones like it and then allow you to choose a color palette. Do you want it in the purples, in the greens? And then they indicate in the descriptions and throughout that yours is going to look a little differently. So it can work, Randy. It just means you've got to work a little bit harder in your product descriptions to make sure that you are letting people know what to expect in the process. And you may even want to have them email you or call you to customize their order so that you can explain that verbally versus the e-commerce process. I've seen some shops on Etsy do that. All right, so I want to jump right back in. A couple other ideas to stimulate, lots of photos and video. Your phone is great. Make sure that you're showcasing products in every way. A quick video really can make a big difference if you demonstrate how a product works, if you show art hung in place versus just in a shelf, for example. anything that you can do to help people envision a product. Share your story, your customer's story, the experience that you're creating. So if anybody shares with you, oh, I love my piece, I gave it to my mother and she went crazy, that's a great post. And what makes you different? It's also great to do really timely posts, not just generic ones. And these are two examples that I really love of some of your members that are really attending these webinars. Here, the first one, Moosehead Marketplace, just got an item back in stock that people have been looking for, which is this beautiful calendar that they do. And it says, you know, we've got them back in stock and we're shipping like crazy. So it gives you this sense of urgency of what's happening in the store right now if you were in there. And then I love this post from Untitled Chocolate that's doing a great Halloween post, but also has really, it's about more than just the candy. It's also about music and how you can get the whole experience through it. So I really love that post as well. And the photograph is terrific. Now I wanted to showcase an example of showcasing your style. While this isn't your industry, this is actually a realtor. What I love is first, her target market are busy moms, right? She's selling a lot of homes to people who are upsizing and downsizing their family home. And she is a busy mom herself. In California, she was under shelter in place, and she started creating this series of posts, which I found so clever, that were homeschooling and wine pairing, because first of all, it was a traumatic event. I know I drank a little bit more wine than normal when homeschooling was happening in the spring, but she really is a wine connoisseur as well and a darn good mom. And so she started creating these posts of here's the things that I did for homeschooling, and then here's the wine pairing and suggested wine for afterwards. And it was a fantastic series that people responded so well to them. So I thought it was a great way to showcase her style. You also want to get creative and tag other locations when you can, locations or people, so that more people see your messages. I think I mentioned this on the last webinar. Here's the photograph of Untitled Chocolate, actually at the Monhegan Museum, showing the Andrew Winter Bar and the original painting together and how cool that is. They also tagged the museum that they were there, which is fantastic. And the Umbrella Cover Museum did this fantastic quick video and showcased this quick video about the museum itself and said that they were closed this season and thanked everybody for coming. Those were two really creative ways to engage with the audience. Now, last week I highlighted the terrific job that Maine Aquaculture Association does with their Facebook page, their whole presence, and the video on the top is just so well done. I also mentioned that I'd showcase them this week, and this is in the topic of being a resource. How can you be a resource for your customers or your members or your audience in any way? And here they created this great infographic so that their audience can see how their businesses measure up, and they're trying to figure out where they rank in terms of Maine aquaculture. They created a free download on their website and then did this terrific social post about it. It was just really well done. A great example of how to be a resource to your community and your audience. And then here on the right is Greenlight Maine, which is the TV show that features startups throughout Maine, helps them get funded and win a contest. And they share a lot of great content for entrepreneurs here in Maine. And if you don't follow them, you should be. Anytime you can get your customer story in there, that's great. People want to see themselves in photos. What I love about this one is it's not just the photo. They've taken this photo, created it in a nice frame that they'll use over and over with different people's photos in it. But then not only did people like it, that couple shared it. And then in the comments here, you could see someone else sharing their photo because they want to be featured in a post. So it's really a really great circular thing where people are wanting to be more and more involved and getting the word out about Pulte Homes. You want to stimulate conversation and engage with people where you can. Here you'll see, this is a great example by Coffee by Design, where what I love in here is Mary Allen is actually the owner of the store. And so the post was created, Mary Allen's replying to some people, and then later on you'll see Coffee by Design is replying to some people. So people are asking questions, and the owner and the store are all getting involved in making sure that they're engaging in conversation. And this happened because they posted this photo, and then they were engaging in conversation with, like, who likes cold brew? And people started going crazy. So it was a really good example of conversation. And here's one that you'll recognize as a local business that we work with, which is Brooks Trap Mill. And we love engaging with conversations with our audience of Brooks, and it's so much fun. In this case, we were really trying to get people to share examples of their little ones taking after the family trade and sharing them. And we were flooded with people sending us pictures of all the great kids at work with their families on the boats. Another thing I wanted to showcase here, showcasing your work and adding a call to action. So a lot of times people will showcase, products, they'll just say, we do hair, we do this service or that service. It really makes a difference when you actually show before and afters, if that's relevant to your business. It isn't for all of you. Show the befores and afters. Also, you could see that they're safe here, which is what I love about the map. But finally, even though you can't see it in the screenshot, she's got her phone right there. So if you want to call Becca, you would have seen her phone number right there, and it's really fast, which is that call to action. So don't just look at my pretty pictures, call me, and that works very well. As I mentioned, incorporate testimonials when and if you get them, because people want to know that other customers have been really happy. And here's the example of reviews. One of you has an Etsy shop. This is actually Too Faced Linen that I really enjoyed your Etsy shop. I saw you've got several products up there, and you've got some great reviews. And so I would be taking these reviews, I'd be sharing them on my Facebook page, on my Instagram, everywhere, and I would be replying to the people to thank them for those reviews. And so you can see Etsy gives you a great opportunity to do that. And the Too Faced Linen page, which is fantastic. Check them out on Etsy. You'll see these reviews underneath. All right, we just got a question from Jennifer. Is there a particular way to share testimonials well? I've heard it's not good to share images with text on them in Facebook and Instagram, but not sure if that's true. Jennifer, that's actually not true. So images can work very well. You'll see we did one for Horch Roofing here. Just hold on, let me go back to that one, which is probably why you asked me that question. These kinds of images can work very well on Facebook and Instagram. Where they don't work well, well, let me focus on Facebook first. They work very well on Facebook. I also repeat or showcase what the image is supposed to do in the text. So you'll see here in the text, it says, thanks for the kind words, Martha. We appreciate the reviews. We use some star icons. And then if you want to share a review, here's how to do it. You cannot do it in your cover photo, or you don't want to do it in your cover photo, but in individual posts, it can work very well on Facebook. On Instagram, it works well, but what I'll tell you is Instagram users are very visual. And so because they're so visual, they would like to see some sort of photo incorporated as well. So if I were doing the same post on the same Horch Roofing post on Insta, I would probably have a photo of the project or a beautiful home project and put some of the testimonial on the image and the rest in the text. I wouldn't quite make it so text heavy. So some of what you were told was right in that Instagram, too much text without a photo doesn't always work. The only time I would say it does work, I shouldn't say the only time, the time it works best, and I don't have a visual example to show you, but if you see certain people will create a checkerboard pattern on their Instagram post. And what they'll do is they'll post all text like this. Then their next photo will be an image. And then the next one will be text like this and then an image. And what happens is it creates a checkerboard pattern. So I'm just looking really quickly trying to find somebody who does it. That does it, but there are plenty that will create that sort of checkerboard pattern that can work really well. So what I would say is use text wisely and strategically make sure you've got images mixed in too, and don't rely too heavily on it. The site that I just went to was Boss Babe, and they've broken the checkerboard and they're mixing text and images. So they've gone to more text. But I'll think of another example and share that later if we can. Okay. Social media for customer service. I know we're getting close to being done, so I'm going to start moving much more quickly and have to abstain from questions for right now to make sure that I don't keep you too long. Make sure that you recognize a lot of people are going to want customer service on social media. And so you need to be prepared to answer them regularly, monitor those channels to answer those questions when they're coming in that way, and that you're there for people. Make sure that you are encouraging them to share and work with you and answer them as fast as you can. When a customer reaches out with a question, form a relationship with them. Maximize this opportunity to do that. I really felt that way when the Perkins Cove Pottery gave me this card. You could be doing that every time you're interacting with people on social. And they're going to reach out to you because they have a question, they have an issue, or want to know more with the product or service, or they want to thank you. So make sure you're answering them when you're doing it. And finally, you want to set up an instant greeting if you can. Chatbots can be used, Messenger can be used. So you can do things like add in your hours of operation, other quick things to answer people's questions. If that's something that you have more questions about, let me know. But it is possible to do that with Messenger. All right, sorry I'm whipping through this a little quickly now. I see we're a little later. So as I mentioned earlier, social media advertising can work very well. You'll want to make a content calendar, really target these moments like Black Friday, Cyber Monday, Christmas, building up to Christmas. Be clear about your shipping, last day to ship to get in time for Christmas, that kind of thing, and get as specific as you can in your targeting. If you need help, ask us. A couple of best practices for paid ads. Make sure that you have your call to action, that you've got some high quality photos, and that you combat ad fatigue by refreshing the images every 6 weeks or so. 6 to 10 weeks works. Okay, finally, as I mentioned when we were talking about this card, I want you to really be thinking about building loyalty. If somebody's starting to buy from you differently, they've always bought from you in person and now you're trying to get them online, or you're just trying to get them to come back to you for the holidays, make sure that you're taking advantage of that opportunity to connect with them. Stick something in the box if you're shipping to them, like a coupon, or even in this case, it's just free shipping and a wishing me wellness. You don't have to have big discounts, but make sure that you're connecting with people beyond the holidays. And if you can, keep a list, an email list of all the people that bought from you over the holidays. Send them a note early in the winter, in the new year. Thank them for their purchase and ask them, try to develop a relationship with them. If you've spent money on ads, you're trying to get people to shop for the holidays, make sure that they think of you all year round. And measure your results. So here are, and we talked about this last week when we were talking about your plan, make sure you set goals and measure your progress. So look at your website traffic by source. Are you getting good traffic from the social media posts you're doing or from your email campaigns? Are people finding you in Google search? Like, how are they getting to your website? How many people are buying or converting? Social media, are you getting good reach? Is your audience getting bigger? Are people engaging in your content? Search, or how are you ranking on key terms like, gifts, near me, Maine, gift, whatever it is you're trying to rank under. For your email, you're looking for open rates, list health, like are people unsubscribing or marking you as spam, or do you have a really good healthy list? And bounce rate, did they open the email and get right out because it wasn't what they expected? And finally, return on investment of your time and money. You're doing a lot of this yourself. If you're attending today's webinar, are you actually getting enough out of it? If you have any questions about that, you want to talk more about your site and know if it's working for you, definitely let me know. You can do this. You can make it happen. You can carry that elephant. And in terms of focusing your efforts, which is one of the questions we got, I hope this webinar helped a little bit. I got a question, how to get people to subscribe to my email list. You can do that through all your posts. Make sure subscribe is prominent on your website, and you can buy ads with the button call to action being subscribed. You can also, where Archipelago has Shop Now on their Facebook page, that could be subscribed to email. Is Facebook effective for sales? Definitely. We sell hundreds of thousands of products through Facebook for our clients. It is incredibly effective for almost any type of product. YouTube. I didn't get the question. I just got the word YouTube. YouTube is helpful. If you have any videos of your products or services, YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world, owned by the first largest, which is Google. So if you've got good video content, definitely put it on YouTube. If you use it to demonstrate your products or services, it can be a big channel for you. So one of the examples I showed you today was of our client Drum Center of Portsmouth, which they sell drums and drum equipment in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. Our biggest channels are email and YouTube. So YouTube can definitely work, and check them out on YouTube if you're looking for some inspiration. And how to choose the right products to market, that one's a little tough for me to answer. What I can say is the more you know about your target customer and what they might be thinking about or wanting to buy it during the holidays, that's how I'd be positioning products, is really sort of getting in their heads and trying to think about what would appeal. So sorry, that was a little bit faster at the end. If you need any help, let me know. There's also terrific resources here on salesforce.com, and I put the link in here. They've got some great holiday insights for planning your holidays, your sales efforts for the holidays. Really good stuff here. I've got the Skills Builder Marketing Coach Program if you need me help, and I can answer any questions. You can email me at shannon@dreamlocal.com, and I'll be sending out this deck to all of you today or early tomorrow.
Amazing. Thank you, Shannon. That was, yeah.
Sorry,
so
I went
good.
over.
No, no worries. That was amazing. So good. Thank you so much. The only other thing I have is always just reach out to me if you have questions. Be on the lookout for the videos. And then as soon as you end this webinar, please take the survey, because that is how we know what to do next and improve on what we're doing. So thank you all so much. And thank you again, Shannon.
You're so welcome. See you later. Thanks so much, everybody.
Have a good day, everyone.